Hey, business owners, Marvelyn Brown here, and I'm so excited because now we are ready to start looking at some of the next steps that you're going to take now that you have chosen a side hustle. So, this video is going to take you to that next step and kind of show you. I know that you're ready to get out there and start promoting your side hustle, but there are a few things that you're going to need to do before you start promoting. And so I'm going to take you through those steps here in a moment. Now, I do want to speak to anyone who has not looked at our um, ideas. So, in the previous section, we have sent out emails, we've got content on our website, we've got videos on some side hustle ideas that you can use if you're starting at the very beginning of your business journey and you're not really sure what you want to do. I would suggest going back and taking a look at those side hustle ideas, because that is going to, those videos and the emails and all of the content that we provided so far will help you examine your hobbies, your skills, your interests, and the things that will really help you shine when it comes to starting a side hustle business. You want to start a side hustle doing something that, number one, you enjoy, and you also want to tap in to some of the things that you already know. So when you think about your hobbies, your skills, your interests, things that you might have done as a volunteer, maybe you are working in an organization like your church or a sporting organization, things that you do in your spare time that really capture your interest. You might find that, going into those areas might be a great place for you to start a side hustle. So take a look at that content and then come back. Once you have selected a side hustle, then you're ready to take the steps that we are going to talk about in this video. So the next thing that you want to do, once you have a side hustle selected, you want to select a niche. Now, you've probably heard the term niche. You may even know what a niche is, but for all of you who are just beginning, you may not know what that means. So let's talk about it. So a niche is a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. And the thing that I want you to take away from this slide, and this is a really big thing for new business owners, and that is that everyone is not your customer. So when we talk about a specialized segment of the market, what we're talking about are those people who are out on Google right now, or even people who are using AI tools, and they're looking for information about the products that you are going to be promoting in your side hustle. So there are people out there right now doing a Google search for whatever it is that you're thinking about promoting. Those are the people that you want to talk to. You don't want to talk to people who are, just kind of curious maybe, or you don't want to talk to people who land on your platform and they really have no idea what you do, or, how your product is going to help them. You don't want to deal with curiosity seekers unless they are, maybe there's a difference between people who are curiosity seekers versus people who are doing product research. So you definitely want to work with people who are researching the kinds of products that you are promoting, because that means they have the intent to buy that product. They just need a little more information. You also want to work with those people who are ready to buy. Those people who are doing a Google search with their credit card in their hand, who need whatever it is that you are promoting. Now, all those other people out there in the world, you don't want to deal with them unless they decide at some point that they need your product or service, and then they start, actively looking for what you have to offer. So this is where your niche is going to come into play. This is going to help you when it comes to creating content, when it comes to understanding the kinds of products that you need to supply to the people that you are going to be working with. So more about that as we go through this this video. So now we're going to, in this video, we're going to dig deeper, because you just don't want to say, I'm going to sell XYZ product. I have a side hustle that, does this, that, or the other, and then get out there and just start trying to broadcast to everyone on the planet. You want to look at the industry, you want to look at the niche, and you also want to look at what we call sub niches. So there are sub niches that fall under certain niches, and we're going to take a look at those as well. So we're going to make this is going to be the example that we're going to talk about today, and that is the cooking side hustle. So if you have been looking at our site and you've gone to we have a page that has, it lists out quite a few side hustles. And so cooking is one of those. And so we did a little, digging, a little research on the cooking side hustle. And we found that the industry that the cooking side hustle can fall under is the hospitality industry. So this is another area, if you are someone who has experience in the hospitality industry, that's also going to build your credibility when it comes to starting your cooking side hustle business, right? So the industry that it falls under is the hospitality industry, also known as the culinary arts. The industry size is estimated to be at $235 billion. So when we look at the industry tells us where the money is. And most industries have what they call trade groups. So there are trade groups, there are, there are alliances, forums, there are all kinds of groups that come together under various industries. So if you are someone who is thinking about starting a cooking side hustle, you want to follow industry trade groups, because that is going to tell you where people are spending their money. Now, that means not only consumers, but businesses as well. So this number represents, what consumers are spending in this industry. It's going to tell you, when you look at that industry trade data, it's going to tell you the areas where people are spending their money. So for example, the hospitality industry can include things like hotels, restaurants, bars. It might even, I'm thinking that it may even include things like fast food. And so people are spending money on that stuff, right? Businesses are also spending money in that area. And so when you look at this industry data, you want to break it down by how much consumers are spending and how much businesses are spending. And then that is going to hopefully help you gain insight as to where you want to place your focus. Now, when you think about the fact that $235 billion are being spent in this industry, if you can just get a percentage of this money that's being spent, this is telling you that the money is already being spent. People are already spending and buying in this particular industry. So what you have to do is you have to figure out the niche that you want to focus on so that you can get a percentage of the money that's being spent in this industry. Now, the other thing that it's going to tell you when you look at industry data, it's also going to tell you whether that industry is growing or whether it's declining. So you can look at data over the years, and you can also think about things like, for example, during the pandemic, the hospitality industry, a lot of restaurants, especially in the hospitality industry, took a hit because, people were in the house. They weren't going out to eat. They weren't sitting down in restaurants. And so a lot of restaurants, some of them went out of business. Some of them took a financial hit. And so this is how things that are happening in the economy can affect your industry. So you always want to have, a finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry that your business resides under. And when you think about, the hospitality industry, during the pandemic, a lot of restaurants had to pivot. There were restaurants that were completely, go in, sit down, look at the menu, have a leisurely drink, have an appetizer, and those restaurants had to pivot. A lot of them had to pivot to drive up and pick up your food, or we're going to deliver your food. And the ones that weren't able to pivot, a lot of them went out. A lot of them had to lay off workers. And so that's where you had a lot of people who kind of had the rug pulled from under them because they didn't have a plan B. The companies didn't have a plan B. The employees didn't have a plan B. And so you know the story. So just think about how important the industry data is going to be when you're doing your research. Now, you may find that, after you do your research, you may find that maybe this industry is not the right one for you. And so that's why it's really important for you to do your industry. I mean, your research, not your industry. You want to do your research. Okay. And then we also found an interesting fact about this industry, and that is that it's the second largest employing industry in the U.S. So just a very, quick look can give you a lot of information. And then if you follow whatever the industry trade groups are for your side hustle, you want to follow them either on social media, or maybe you want to get their email. If they have a email newsletter, you might want to get that, just so that you can stay abreast of what's going on in your industry. Now, once you know what's going on in your industry, then you're going to focus in on your niche. Now, I call this niche, this is a broad niche, right? Cooking is a very broad niche. It's kind of what I call an umbrella niche. So there's a lot of stuff that falls under the umbrella of cooking. And that is known as, those things that fall under cooking that are related are referred to as sub niches. And so some of the sub niches under that big cooking umbrella can be things like nutrition, diet, baking, healthy eating, vegan cooking, cooking for kids, cooking with kids, gourmet cuisine, and meal prep. Those are some of the areas that you can focus in on. When we talk about zeroing in on your niche, this is what we're talking about. Coming up with these sub niches that you can zero in on. And if you are noticing, we have gone from the broad niche, we've talked about the industry, and as we go through each one of these slides, we're getting more and more narrow in our focus. So we've gone from the industry, now we're looking at the particular cooking niche, and we're looking at the sub niches. This is where you want to focus your attention from a marketing perspective. So what a lot of new business owners will do is they will just focus on this, which is the big umbrella niche. So then they're like, okay, I have a niche now, I'm ready to go out and start promoting. Well, when you think about all the different sub niches that someone can really tap into when it comes to the cooking niche, you can drive yourself absolutely nuts trying to cover all of these different areas, because even though it's under the cooking niche, all of these areas will appeal to different types of people. So let's go back to our example of the Google search. So someone who is looking for information on nutrition might be totally different from someone who is looking for information on baking. Maybe, if you're someone who loves dessert, you might be looking for more recipes or guidance on how to be a better baker, right? Or you may be looking for recipes on, baked goods. If you're looking for information on nutrition, You might be someone, maybe a consumer, who is maybe you've gotten some information from the doctor and you want to start eating healthier. So you want to know, more about the nutritional value of the foods that you're eating, and maybe you want to try to eat better. If you're someone who is doing a Google search on diet, you could be looking for a particular type of diet. So you might be looking for Mediterranean diet, the keto diet. There's so many different types of diets. A salt-free diet, a sugar-free diet. And so as you can see, you have lots of stuff to choose from when it comes to selecting a niche. And it may even seem counterintuitive to narrow down your focus if you want to make a lot of money, right? But let's go back to our industry. When you look at this $235 billion that is being spent in the hospitality industry, you only want to get a certain percentage or a certain portion of this $235 billion figure. Now, if you were to actually take your side hustle, as an individual, and if you think you can take your side hustle and just go out and start making $235 billion, that's going to be a little bit unrealistic, because you don't have the budget, you don't have the resources, you don't have especially if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you're not going to have the dedicated staff that, that makes up this number, right? You're not going to be looking at it from a business perspective and a consumer perspective. If you try to do that, you would need a much bigger company with more money and more resources. So you'll never be able, as an individual, to compete with this figure. But you can definitely, when you break it down, you can definitely compete when you niche down and when you narrow your focus to one of these areas. So what I would recommend is that under that cooking side hustle, you pick one of these areas, or you do your research and you find one area, one sub niche that is related to cooking that you can specialize in. Now, when you think about being a specialist, just think about when you go to the doctor and you, especially these days, a lot of us want to go to a specialist, right? And so you can go to a generalist, you can go to someone who is a general doctor and they can kind of give you a recommendation. But, if you have a really big problem or you have an issue that really needs attention, you want to make sure that you are dealing with a specialist. And that is what you're going to become. You're going to become that go-to person who specializes in whatever it is that you select here. So if you're someone who is, maybe you are specializing in healthy eating. So you're still under that cooking niche, but you're specializing in healthy eating. And what you become is that go-to resource because you're going to be creating content around healthy eating. So you become that person that when people think about your business, they think about healthy eating versus trying to, satisfy everybody in all these different areas. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So let's move on. Okay, so then you've probably also heard the term target audience. Now, this is where you are going to place your focus. So we've said all of this, like we've talked about the industry, we've talked about the niche, we've talked about the sub niches, and we've done all of that to help you find your target audience. And the target audience is going to be that group of people that you are going to work with. And so the other thing that you need to do when you think about your target audience is you want to break it down even one step further. And that is, are you going to be working with other businesses? So are you going to be a B2B company with your cooking side hustle? Or are you going to work with consumers? Now, once you've done that, once you've done your homework and you have picked out the industry that your side hustle is under, and you have selected your niche that coincides with your side hustle, when you have identified these sub niches, then you are ready to start marketing because you know who your target audience is. You know who those people are that you are going to be reaching out to. Now, it's going to make it so much easier for you to create content when you know who your target audience is. You're going to be able to do social media posts, you're going to be able to do videos, podcast episodes, all of those things that we do to market our business, all of it's going to be geared and focused on your target audience. Okay, so now I hope you understand more about why it's important for you to do your due diligence before you start promoting. Because when you get out there and you just start promoting to any and everybody, then you end up promoting and selling to no one. And so you want to be laser focused on who you are going to be selling to. And then your goal as a business owner is to get your content in front of your target audience. So figuring out where your target audience hangs out online and then putting your content in those areas. Okay, so instead of, this is the other thing that I see a lot of business owners do, and that is they go out and they try to find their target audience. So you know who your target audience is, and you find someone that you think might be a perfect fit, and you will, and this is what a lot of people do. Not saying that you do it, but a lot of people will direct message or they'll spam people with a bunch of emails and, just inappropriate behavior, right? None of us want to be spammed. We don't want you, it's kind of like that pesky salesperson who, continues to harass you even though you're just looking, but they still, keep coming around asking you questions. You don't want that. You don't want to be that person. You want to attract, and this is the key word right here. You want to attract your target audience to your selected niche. And so now your assignment is to come up with a kind of a persona of who would be the perfect fit for your side hustle. So whatever the product is that you're going to be selling, or whatever the service is, or whatever you're going to be doing with your side hustle, you want to know, you want to sit down and brainstorm who would be the best fit for that product. You might even, instead of harassing your friends and family and asking them to buy your product without giving them a clear reason why they should buy your product, you might want to, ask them to help you sit down and brainstorm, the types of people, whether it's other businesses or whether it's consumers, that would be a perfect fit for your business. And then now, this is where it really gets exciting, because this is where you're going to start really drilling down and identifying and connecting with your target audience. So the way that you're going to do that, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to create a clear and concise slogan or tagline that tells your audience how you help them. Number one, who you are, what you do, and how you help them. And then this tagline is also going to keep you focused. So you're going to put this tagline on your website, in your marketing materials. You might even put it, in very selected areas when you do your social media posting. You don't want to include your tagline in every single social media post or every single video, but you do want to include this in your branding. You don't want to make people sick with it, but you do want to put it in strategic places so that your ideal customers can immediately see that you are a good fit for them, right? And so your tagline is going to follow this formula. And it's going to say something like, I help X and X is going to be who. So I help X do Y. Y is going to be what. By Z, and Z is going to be how, so that they can, and then you're going to fill in this blank. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, then it may not make sense to you, but I'm going to put this formula in the show notes so that you can kind of go back and maybe listen to this, and it will make a lot more sense once you see this formula. So again, you're going to say something to the effect of, I help X. X is going to represent who you help. So I help X do Y. Y is going to be what you do to help this person. By Z, and then how is going to be what Z represents, so that they can, and then you're going to fill in the blank with the transformation or the improvement that you help your ideal customers with. So now we're going to put that into action and give you an example of what this is showing. Okay, so this is a tagline, and this is our tagline example. So in the cooking niche, with the cooking side hustle, you could have a tagline like, I help busy moms make nutritious meals with easy 30-minute meals, or you could say 30-minute recipes, so that they can get in and out of the kitchen in half the time, ensuring that their family is eating healthy meals. And so in this example, I use the word meals quite a bit, but you can switch those words out so that it doesn't sound redundant. I just kind of put this together so that you can see an example of a tagline. Now, you may also want to shorten this, right? Based on where you're going to put it in your content. You may want to put the full version on your website and maybe condense it down for social media. But this is going to tell your ideal customers, the people that you want to work with, and in this case, this person or this business, this cooking side hustle in our example, has decided to work with busy moms. But this also tells a busy mom, and kind of shouts out busy moms, and then it tells them what the business is going to do to help them. And it, also helps them to understand that at the end of this, content or, working with this business, your family is going to be eating healthy meals, however you decide to phrase it. But you want to help your ideal customers do something, make a transformation, improve their lives in some way. And so when you market things in this way, when you know who your ideal customers are and you speak directly to that audience and you show them how you're going to help them, that is going to get you, further down the road. It's going to help to get you a lot further than someone who has no idea what they do. They kind of have an idea what their business does, but they don't know how to articulate it, right? So when you go out and you're doing your 30-second elevator pitch, this can be your 30-second elevator pitch right here. And so this is also, on the flip side of that, as a business owner, when you look at this, it's going to help to keep you focused so that you are staying on target with your marketing message, and you're going to be consistently, hammering in the fact that you help busy moms by helping them to do this, that, or the other, and make a transformation. Okay, so once you have your tagline, your slogan created, and you're clear on what you do and how you help people, then you're going to be in an excellent position when it comes to creating content. So now we are at the end of this this presentation, and the thing that I want you to consider is we have this ebook that we put together. It's 14 pages, and it's filled with ideas that you can use to position your business for success. So instead of sitting down and having to rack your brain and try to figure out what are some niche ideas that I can use with my side hustle to come up with my tagline And my slogan, you can use this ebook, and it's going to really give you, it's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to help you to zero in on your target audience. So I will put a link below this video as well that you can use to head over to our site, and you can purchase this ebook and get started, right? This is your next step. This is your next set of steps that you are going to take. And then once you have this done, you are going to be ready to promote your business. How exciting is that? And when you think about it, we have gone through this series within a week's time. We did 5 emails. When you signed up for our email list, we sent you those 5 emails, and those 5 emails really helped you when it comes to selecting your niche. And once you select your niche and you understand, who you're working with, that is going to take so much of the burden off your shoulders when it comes to trying to figure out what your next steps are and what you need to do. So look forward to some additional, now that you've got your niche identified, you know how to do your tagline, now you're ready to promote, and we're going to add you to a newsletter that will give you additional ideas that you can use to market your business. So look forward to those emails. Look forward to more content on our website. And I am so glad that you have decided to join us. If you have any questions about any of the information that I provided, please feel free to reach out, and I will definitely follow up and answer any questions that I can answer. All right, so thanks again for hanging out, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great week and make it productive.